My name is Dejane.
And I'm Diaja.
And we are twins from Georgia. And I've been a disciple going on almost 8 years now. I've been in Salt Lake City, Utah for 4 years on the original mission team back in 2020.
And I am not a disciple. I just moved here. It's been a month now. And so I have been joining my sister at church services and church events.
We're here with Dejane.
Long tangent, backstory. Moving forward.
I'm sure you love your family and they've looked at you and you've wanted to live a faith that really inspires them. But like, if you could describe that whole process of like what you've gone through, and I know that's not a real question.
Like a hot mess. I think in the beginning, like I came from a religious background. Like I grew up in church my whole life, and I would say I wouldn't be a disciple if it wasn't for my grandma. When I moved to college, so I'm from Georgia, I'm from Atlanta, and I went to Oregon State University. So we moved across the country by myself. My grandma was very concerned. She's like, you need to find a church home. And so she's the one that really put it on my heart to find some sort of church. Just because that's what I grew up in. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like everyone needs God, like I do. And so if it wasn't for her, it's hard to say that like her prayers or like my childhood, like studying the Bible would have probably been really difficult, but the studying the Bible was very easy. However, in the beginning, like, I'm not good with my words. And so when I don't like something or I feel some type of way, I very much voice it without, understanding how your words can impact someone's views and thoughts and feelings, right? Like you are someone's child, like they want the best for you, like how dare they or you choose something that's hurting you. Does that make sense? So in the beginning, discipleship is hard. And so I definitely would talk about things that were hard in the moment. And so unfortunately, the way I spoke about the church as a young disciple, again, not knowing anything, right? I'm a baby disciple. That unfortunately has followed me through my discipleship. I have had victories where I've had family members come out to Sunday services, come out to meet the body, and they enjoy it. And, however, like after the fact, I find out like, oh, actually I didn't enjoy it. It's like, okay, wait, why didn't you like explain things from the beginning? Or, everyone's entitled to opinion. You're not going to agree with everything, but it was confusing at times because I'm like, you're telling me one thing in the moment, like this is great, I love the lesson, but then turning around and be like, actually, no, without much explanation either, which again, I can only do so much. And so it's definitely been rough where I've been told that I'm being brainwashed or I'm controlled or they're making you do these things. And I'm like, no one's making me do anything. Like when I think about all the decisions like big decisions in terms of moving or, again, moving out to Salt Lake, like it was very much a choice. I didn't have to move because I got baptized in Corvallis and the church was in Eugene. I got asked to move to Eugene because the church in Corvallis was very small and we weren't doing too good. And we were away from the majority of the church, if that makes sense. So during that time, like I got asked, like you can stay in Corvallis and commute to Eugene, or you can move to the Eugene and commute to Corvallis. I'm like, so again, I was given choices back then. I was given choices again between LA and Utah. And again, I made a choice. And it's funny because for the most part, my family was very supportive of me being in the church. My biggest persecution point that I had experienced was when I was asked to move from Corvallis to Eugene, where I was talking to a family member and I was like, yeah, like it's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's a faith move. Like I just believe that like God's gonna work it out because I didn't have a lot of details that they were looking for as far as a move. I was like, it's a faith move. And someone responded, was like, well, you call it faith and I call it stupidity. Like, what do you do? Like, like my friends, like my family, the people I knew were going to be in Corvallis. I was going to be by myself. So for me, I'm like, it's in those moments, like the decision's very clear, but it was very hard to explain why move away, which, I mean, it worked out. God totally provided. Fast forward to recently, me being in Utah, I've, have had family members visit, of course. And for some time, I'm like, being my sister, my twin sister. I was like, you should move to Utah. She's like, never. I'm like, okay. So, I've offered and she would say no quite regularly. And again, totally God, not me. I asked her randomly, you should move to Utah. She said, okay. I was like, what? And so it was totally God just kind of orchestrating, not just like answering my prayer, but definitely her, like working in her life. And so, got a phone call of, basically saying like, is she going to be accepted in your church? Like, is there going to be issues, or is there going to be a problem that she's not a disciple and she's moving? And I was like, what? Like, everyone loves her. Like, the way I talk about, I don't know, I just talk about my family to a lot of my friends here. And she knows people. Like, she's had conversations, FaceTimes or whatever. She knows people. And I'm just like, what would make you say that? Like, everyone loves her. Like, everyone's excited for her to move. Like, there's people who aren't here that wish they could have been here when she got here. And so I'm just like, I don't understand like where this is coming from. And unfortunately, like, that led to not a great end of conversation in terms of what's the expectation? Like, what do you want me to say? Am I supposed to not, like, do you want me to move out of Salt Lake? Am I supposed to not be a disciple? Am I not supposed to move to the church? Is that not supposed to move here? But one of the concerns being you're away from family. But if Dad's coming here, how am I going to be away from family? So sometimes like the logic just wasn't there for me. And so it's been rough. Like, I've had a person who's not even a member of my family come for my throat in the sense of like telling me as I think I was 28 at the time, 29 now. 27. Anyway, in my 20s. Okay, I'm older than 25. And someone telling me like, you're behind in life. You should have a house by now, an apartment by now. Like, you should just like there's people I know your age that are just further along. I'm sorry, who are you? Because the way that I have done a lot of things by my own, as far as learning how to do college, learning how to do a bank account, like taxes, like I didn't have family to handhold me through these things. And then for this person to be someone I don't know, like, you haven't had a conversation with me ever about my life as far as how I've come to have 2 degrees. My first degree is a miracle. Like, when I got reached out to and started studying the Bible, I was failing out of college. And you're telling me that I'm behind in life? I'm sorry, were you there when I was going through the hardest time of my life as a first-year college student? Not sure what I'm doing. Not sure what career I want to do because veterinary school was out of the question. Then you're telling me I'm behind, and yet I graduated from one college, and at the time I was still in school. Like, I'm in school again by choice. Like, I put myself through school again to, again, go after a career, to set myself up for success where I could go anywhere, do anything, give up everything, and still have a job, no matter where I'm at. Like, I'm confused. And so it's having those conversations of like trying to help people understand that like my life may seem like it's out of order, but I'm very much making choices to set myself up to be able to go anywhere, do anything, and give up everything for the kingdom of God. Because unfortunately, there's been a lot of disciples I've seen that, move and like, have that mindset, but are struggling. I refuse to struggle. I grew up in a struggle. I grew up moving all the time, power out, not always food in the fridge. Not because I wasn't provided for, but just, it's just a way of life. And my parents did the best that they could. And I see that now. But if that's something I can control going forward, why wouldn't I work towards elevating myself in a position where I can move anywhere and still have a great career doing something I love? Like, that's weird. So, and then again, this is all just kind of things I've recently come to like realize of like, yeah, like my life is crazy, but also like I know what I want to become. As far as like from a worldly perspective, right? Like I want to be someone who has a career, but also like this means nothing. This life that I have built for myself, this job that I have, these people that I know, the clothes on my back, like it's all from God. And if he chooses to take it away or call me somewhere else, like, so be it. It was never mine to begin with, but to know that I worked towards those things to help show that I'm not nothing, you know, or that I am like stable as people want me to be, like, you know, cool. And so it's been a roller coaster of a ride as far as like family concern goes, where again, I'm not like out here on the streets being crazy as some people can be. But I have my sister here now with me, and I think, I mean, I don't really know like her logic behind moving here, but I know that my life has to have some sort of impact for her to feel like comfortable to uproot her life, move here with me in a state that she was against moving to for so many years. And so I have to just trust that God's working in my life one day, 1 year at a time, with the hope that, you know, one day my family can come to a truth. Maybe not by my words, because my words have not been the best, but by my life and by my actions, which again, aren't perfect. But my hope is even with Di moving here can just be a testament to what having a good family foundation, whether that be your physical family or your spiritual family, can just help propel you to be something greater than what you could think you could be by yourself. Because I couldn't do this by myself. There's no way. Yeah.